You're listening to Lincoln and Logan County Sports Open Line. That is the cheap seats right here on 96.3 WLCN. Cameron Kurtz out here this Saturday morning out at Jake's Furnishings, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Mr. Josh Komnick, and joined by the furniture guy himself, Jake Johnson. And fellas, an interesting morning that we've got on tap here in the sports world. A lot of great things that are coming. A lot of interesting things happened in the last week. We'll get to some of those stories later on. And Josh, it's that time now. That time where high school basketball getting those final things kind of tweaked and, everything drawn up, if you will, there in the last couple of weeks. And a lot of teams will be playing for those regional games coming up here next week and then coming up in the final weeks. And the Railers are a team, they're looking to finish out their season strong.
Well, Lincoln got a game tonight at home against Moline. Of course, that's senior night, so we want to invite everybody to come out and pay tribute not only to the basketball seniors, but band and any activities that are going on here over the winter months, and have those guys recognized out on the floor. It's a nice evening. And, of course, also next weekend we'll be at Springfield Lanphier for our last regular season game. If you're a 1A or 2A school, you don't have a lot of time. You're going into regionals next week, and so you'll start basically the state tournament for your run to Peoria. The Railers and the 3A and 4A schools have 1 week left to iron things out and get ready for that regional, which that regional starts not this coming Monday, but the next Monday at Roy S. Anderson Gymnasium, as Springfield will take on Morton for the first night. Whoever wins that game will be Lincoln's opponent Tuesday night at 7:30.
And, of course, we will have all of those Lincoln games throughout the regional tournament right here on WLCN. But, fellas, last night, Lincoln came away with the winner by a margin of 19 points over Chatham-Glenwood, 61-42, that final, and a couple of other area scores to take a look at here in high school basketball last night. Mount Pulaski fell to Illini Bluffs by a score of 58-36. It was Illini Central. They topped New Berlin 68-54. And also, we want to give a special shout-out to the Lincoln Junior High School 8th grade boys team, who took third place in the IESA Class 2A state tournament this past week. They defeated Peoria Christian, and our congratulations go out to the Trojans for claiming third in IESA 8th grade state. And also, Josh, you mentioned it there just a minute ago, the Class A and 2A schools will begin their regionals next week. Both Hartsburg-Emden and Mount Pulaski will be a host for a regional site. Those games starting up Monday, and then, of course, those games going on throughout next week with those regional championships in Class A and Class 2A being played next Friday night. And also, Lincoln High School has a freshman boys basketball tournament that is starting up this weekend. A couple of different teams that sometimes we may not necessarily get to see. You've got Rochester, which we always see in Central State 8 play, but a couple of teams that we're not used to seeing a whole lot. Washington, Dunlap, University High School, Limestone, Peoria Richwoods, and Springfield High School, those teams in that Lincoln Freshman Tournament, which runs today, the 21st and 22nd.
Yeah, Lincoln taking on Dunlap today at 10 a.m. In the main gym, and go out and check them out. They're 18-3, and Coach McQuillan and Coach Harmson has got the freshman team playing really well. If they were to win that game, they will play at 6 o'clock on Monday night, and then the following night will be Tuesday for the championship. Hopefully the freshman Railers go all the way. Again, they're 18-3. The sophomores won again last night. They came from behind down 11 points right at about halftime and into the third quarter, and came back and won 43-40. That improves the sophomore record to 19-2. So not only the varsity doing really well this year, all levels of Railer basketball men's side have very good records.
Very good records all the way across the board. The Railers victorious in every aspect last night. And when Coach Neil Alexander gets in here in the second half hour of the show, we will discuss those. But we've got a couple of those Central State 8 scores and area scores to go through. And Joshua, break it down.
Yeah, Southeast 78, Jacksonville 63. Jacoby Anderson led Southeast, who has wrapped up the Central State 8 for the 2011 season. That's the third in a row. In 2009, they won it outright. In 2010, Southeast shared it with the Railers. And then just last night, they for sure wrapped up the outright Central State 8 championship for Southeast, 78-63 over Jacksonville. Southeast is now 19-6, 13-2 in the Central State 8. Jacksonville 10-17, 6-9 in the conference. Somehow they got a number 1 seed in a regional. Lanphier 59, Rochester 41. That improves Lanphier's record, who now is coming into that regional with the Railers, 15-9, 11-4 in the conference. Larry Austin Jr. with 17, Everett Clemens with 17. Rochester falls to 10-18, 3-13 in the conference, although they will head to a 2A regional coming up starting this week. Springfield, a big winner, 81, Taylorville 29 to Carlos Poole with 28 points for Springfield. They improved to 14-12, 9-6 in the conference. Taylorville, 0-27, 0-14 in the conference. Another school that will be in that regional is Springfield. And big score that we did some research on early this morning. Moline 64, United Township 55. That'll be the opponent for the Railers tonight at Roy S. Anderson Gymnasium will be Moline. Moline comes into tonight's contest 17-10 overall. Anthony Lindauer was 7 of 10 from the 3-point line last night for Moline. He finished with 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 steals. So looks like a good player. Hopefully he leaves some of those threes back in Moline, the upper northwest of Illinois. Leave some of those threes up there and don't bring them down to Lincoln.
Yeah, and a lot of that high school basketball that's being played up around the Quad Cities, you throw a team like Moline in there. Lincoln is fortunate enough every couple of years or so to play Moline, whether it is that we have to make the trip up there or whether they bring it down here to Roy S. It is nice that you kind of see some of that other competition from the state. We're just so used to seeing teams from the Central State 8 and from those area schools, and which that's no criticism. There is a lot of good basketball in this area of the state, but it's also nice to see how you favor in other parts of the area as well.
Well, plus a 4A school coming down,
That's right.
Always good size, and Moline always has a good basketball team. So a good test on senior night tonight for the Railers.
But Josh, there last night, just wrapping up a couple of things here, I thought the Railers did a pretty good check last night. Peyton Allen was a freshman who came in and had a lot of big hype about him and got a chance to see him play last night. And from what I saw, I did like the performance that the young man put out there. But luckily for the Railers, they were able to keep him in check, and Coach Alexander will expand upon that a little bit more. But gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and kind of transition gears a little bit. And Jake, while we've got you in here this morning with us, kind of get a third guy's perspective on this. An area that I know that you were probably very interested in this week has to do with Major League Baseball and the St. Louis Cardinals. They couldn't quite come with a mutual agreement with Albert Pujols, and as far as the contract extension, the original reports claimed a 10-year, $300 million contract for Albert Pujols, who has been the National League MVP many times, but the Cardinals reportedly came back with an 8-year, $200 million deal and possible ownership in the club once his playing days were done. Whether all of this was true or not, this was just what was reported, but I guarantee you that it was a pretty legit offer on the Cardinals' part.
Actually, I'm wondering if it was a legit offer. I mean, the thing about the contract situation with Pujols, not to just jump into this, but the worst thing they could do is bet against themselves. Pujols wants to be a Cardinal. He's more than likely going to be a Cardinal. He wants to see what's out there. The worst contract in baseball history was Alex Rodriguez signing with the Texas Rangers. He was the best player at the time. There was no doubt about that. The problem was he played the best he could possibly play at that time. And no matter what he did, they couldn't make the playoffs with him because it's a team game. Well, the Cardinals aren't going to bet against themselves, even though he is the best player in the game.
Well, you've got the best player in the game, and definitely the best player, arguably, for our generation that we've seen come through in a number of years. But whether or not you've got these reports, the media has kind of blown it out of proportion, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals kind of lay low on it for a couple of months and make a deal with them about midway through the season, perhaps get to June, July, maybe to the All-Star break, and they come out, and then all of a sudden you hear, hey, the Cardinals sign Albert Pujols. Maybe that might be something to think about later on as the season progresses and you get halfway through.
To be honest, the way, and like I said, I don't know. I mean, I don't know Albert Pujols as well as you guys do, but I would be willing to bet that he's saying, we're going to the end of the season, and then I'm going to take the bids. I'm going to give the Cardinals a hometown discount. It could be $35 million a year because Washington Nationals are offering him $40 million a year. Right. But I mean, he's going to get his contract, but I think he wants to see what's out there. And can you blame him?
No.
I mean, you're talking about a possibly once-in-a-generation type player. I mean, after the numbers are said and done, that could be what he is. He could be a Stan the Man type, a Ted Williams type by the time it's all said and done. So,
and he may be a Cub.
And I mean, there
is that possibility. Yeah,
I don't see it.
I could only dream.
Well, yeah, but I don't see the Ricketts going down that avenue. I mean, they're financially pretty savvy. It seems like, and they're already saying, okay, this is how we want to move these dollars, so we can start maximizing on this type of player. And they're looking at a cheaper alternative as opposed to saying, oh, let's go get Cliff Lee. Let's go get this,
It almost kind of seemed like they had, though, the Cubs had this kind of in plan, that they signed Carlos Pena for 1 year.
Yeah.
Now, if you have an opportunity to get a left-handed hitter, power hitter at the first base position, why would you only sign him for 1 year?
Well, yeah, but on top of that, he only batted.
Exactly.
He was under 200 last year.
That.
So, but then again, he could have a monster year too. He's one of those guys. If he makes contact, good God, does the ball fly?
Okay, here's something else to consider. You talk about the millions of dollars that these players are making. Jake, you brought it up a moment ago with probably one of the most ridiculous contracts in baseball. Had to be that Alex Rodriguez contract a couple of years ago. But you've got guys, even a local guy like a Jason Worth, who goes and signs this astronomical contract. It did just a little bit of figuring there on my own, and I figured out here are some of the more higher paid players in baseball. This is in no particular order. Alex Rodriguez making $33 million a year. CC Sabathia, a left-handed pitcher, making $24 million a year. Derek Jeter, $22 million. Alfonso Soriano with Chicago, $19 million. Those are just, a small handful. That's in no particular order. But when these guys are making $15, $20, and in some cases, on the upper tier of it, $30 million a year, you kind of have to wonder, where does the club have to step in to say, all right, here's where we draw the line? Because there's two sides to that. Number one, you have to be able to put a good quality club out on the field, a good quality product. And number two, you got to make sure that the fans are going to come back, because all this expense is going to be passed on to the fans, and your average family isn't going to be able to afford to go to a baseball game where the tickets are already running for an average seat around $50 a seat, and those prices are going up.
Yeah, but the ticket prices, to be honest, the ticket prices aren't based on what the players are making. You can break it down all you want. The owners of Major League Baseball are rich. The owners of NFL football are rich. Every single team, even the Pittsburgh Pirates owners, are absolutely, just loaded. They make money every year. They're not like the NBA where there's teams losing money. Mm-hmm. Every single team makes money. They will only put as much money into the product as they want. That's the thing. Every team's the same way. The Ricketts are the same way. Right now, the Cubs could have a payroll over $200 million if they want. Right. They don't want that because they want to say, okay, this is our bread and butter. How much extra butter can we get on the bread?
They want to make
and
money.
That's what's going on.
That's right. Gentlemen, final thoughts here. We've got about another minute or two before we have to step aside and take a commercial. Final thoughts on this before we wrap it up and move on. Jake, what is the probability that you see Albert Pujols and the Cardinals coming to a mutual agreement by the end of this season, thus keeping Albert in the city of St. Louis?
Around 80% positive he will be.
Okay, 80%. So we're thinking of B as far as a college grading scale and a C as far as a high school grading scale. Josh, what are you thinking?
50% he's a Cardinal. I just think if this guy's not money hungry, which he says he's not, he wants to become a Cardinal. Why didn't he do it before this season? 8 years, 7 years, $200 million, whatever they offered him. Why not now? He wants, like Jake said, I think he wants to test the waters. He wants to see how much somebody will give him. And if you get a team like the Anaheim Angels out there that guy's got a lot of money and he likes to spend it, if he gets a chance to go, I think he could. And I just think he would have signed already if he was true to the Cardinals so far.
With that, we're going to step aside and take a commercial break, and when we come back, we will break down college basketball action. The Illini have a tough test today on the road against Michigan State. We'll discuss that when we come back. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Cheap Seats on 96.3. And we're back out at Jake's Furnishings this morning on the Cheap Seats, 96.3 WLCN. Cameron Kurtz, Josh Komnick, and Jake out here with us this morning. And fellas, we're going to go ahead and turn things over to the college side of basketball now, and Bruce Weber's Fighting Illini have a tough test against them today on the road, taking on Tom Izzo's Michigan State. A game to be played at 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN. And the Illini has kind of had a little bit of a rough go the last couple of weeks. Last week in that loss to Purdue, was something that Bruce Weber came out and was obviously disappointed about, but just said that intensity needs to be there on all levels of the court. Jacob, what do you think about Illinois' chances going on the road, rather? That's probably the biggest aspect that you have to take a look at in this game tonight.
Well, to give to Bruce Weber's credit, ever since he's came to Illinois, they have played Michigan State very well, and for whatever reason, it seems like almost every year they pull off victories against Michigan State, no matter what either team's ranked. So, being a homer, I'll stick with Illinois today.
He's gonna stick with Illinois today. And Josh, you kind of brought an interesting statistic to us with Michigan State. They were once ranked number 2 in the polls. They've had their struggles, so to speak, there throughout the season, and you brought it up to us over the break that Illinois is the underdog in this one.
Yeah, Michigan State, just looking here in the paper, a 2.5 point favorite at the Breslin Center today, and just going to be really hard, I think, for the Illini. What Dimitri McKamey is going to show up. We've seen, like in the Purdue game, where he takes 3 shots. I was at the game last Sunday, and there were wide open shots where he didn't take. The Illini were up at times, just sloppy play when it came down to the end, and Purdue just too good of a team to have a lot of sloppy play and not getting a lot of the loose balls. But and then he comes back this week and puts up 18 points, and we win against Michigan at the Assembly Hall. Can we shoot it well enough against Michigan State? Those guys are definitely playing better, although at the beginning they couldn't play any worse. Kalen Lucas is now slowly recovering back from that Achilles injury that happened last year in the NCAA. Mm-hmm. It looked like to me last game that I saw him, he's pretty much back to full strength. They're big inside. They hit the boards. That's one thing the Illini do not do well, is hit the boards, crash on the rebounds, and it'll be a big test. The Illini need one of those signature wins, I think, to get in, because right now the Joe Lenardis of the world have Illinois in right now. Mm-hmm. But to secure that NCAA bid, that outright bid, you've got to have a signature win, whether it be on the road or a team like Ohio State comes to Illinois, which we've already lost to them. We've got a heck of a schedule coming up. We got to go to Ohio State, to Michigan State, and to Purdue. You can almost write those off, 2 of those, as losses at Purdue and at Ohio State. This is a big game today to see if the Illini can make the NCAA tournament.
And with Illinois having its struggles getting to the NCAA tournament 3 out of the last 4 years, it was announced there a couple of days ago that University of Illinois Athletic Director Ron Guthrie comes out and says that Bruce Weber's job is secured for another year at least. Naturally somewhat disappointed and somewhat prejudiced in the matter, but thinks that Weber is doing everything that he can to put a good quality team out there on the court. So 8 o'clock tonight is the start time for that. And college basketball had a new poll spot change there this week, in the number 1 spot previously held by Ohio State. It was taken over by the Kansas Jayhawks, took the number 1 spot, but ironically didn't last long. They lost to Kansas State there just a day after that. Kansas is still the number 1 team as of now, but with Kansas and Ohio State, those number 1 and number 2 teams that have both had 1 loss already, it's neat to see how stacked this upper tier of the top 25 and even the top 10 in that regard is in the NCAA. Gentlemen, an interesting thing that will happen tomorrow is the start of the NASCAR racing season. NASCAR has its Super Bowl, if you will, there at the beginning of the season with the running of the Daytona 500 at Daytona International Raceway there in Florida. and a highly anticipated race, and a race that is going to come somewhat solemn for race fans tomorrow, this marking the 10th anniversary of the death of racing legend Dale Earnhardt Sr. Tomorrow on lap number 3 of the Daytona 500, the broadcast on Fox will fall silent, and everything will be silent for a lap of remembrance of Dale Earnhardt there on the 3rd lap. So, kind of transitioning gears a little bit, something that's not too far away, gentlemen, is the NFL draft. And just real quickly, Mel Kiper Jr. is probably going to be one of the most famous men in America here in the next couple of weeks, as college basketball season is getting to that point in the season where they've got just a couple of weeks left. High school basketball is going to be pretty much wrapped up here in a couple of weeks. Now is the time where you're starting to hear a lot about the NFL draft already.
Well, and to me, the combine, and they talk all about those things, and how faster you can run, and how high you can jump, and all this kind of thing is throw it out the window. Put somebody out there, draft somebody that you've seen in the college during a game that performs. You know, I don't care about speed or all these other kind of agility drills that they do. Go look on a tape and find them when Illinois played Michigan State, and see how the running back did in that game. Don't worry about his speed and all that kind of stuff. So the NFL draft to me is, it's enjoyable to see what the Bears do and how bad their draft can possibly get worse and worse and worse every year. But other than that, it's really, who's the fastest, who can jump the highest, who's the biggest, the strongest, and all that kind of thing.
Jake, what do you think on that?
The combine, you're leading up to something that's kind of fun to watch. It's entertaining to watch, but it's a gamble every year. Obviously, the Bears haven't been good at it for years.
Ever since Ditka.
Yes. Honestly. I don't know. We haven't had a first-round draft pick have a real impact on a team in a while. Urlacher was a first-round pick. After him, I can't.
Been bad.
Yeah, and a lot of injured guys that didn't pan out for even a year.
Yeah.
So it's just fun. It is kind of fun. Gets you motivated. Keeps the NFL talking, and keeps that moving forward. But this is the time of year. To be honest, this is my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
You've got March Madness.
March Madness.
Pitchers and catchers have just reported. I'm a huge baseball guy, as you know. So pitchers and catchers.
Spring training starting up. It's
to me
time.
that's everything for me. That's my favorite time of the year. Better than Christmas.
Speaking of Christmas, Jake is, some people would call Jake Santa Claus right now with the great specials he's got going on out here. And Jake, you've got this huge President's Day Furniture Spectacular, what you're calling it. You've got sale on just about everything out here. A huge line of Bemco mattresses, Ashley Furniture, wall-to-wall out here. Care to talk about some of those specials that you've got going on out here?
That's right, Cam. We got some big deals going on. Actually, in all seriousness, with our Bemco bedding, we're trying to make up a new kind of a sleep center type thing, and we've got some new memory foam and latex beds we're introducing. We actually just got them in. They're getting them put out this morning, actually, so fresh off the truck, brand new. We're starting up our memory foam and latex area here at Jake's Furnishings.
And I also see you've got a 8-piece living room set here that comes complete with a sofa, love seat, a cocktail table, 2 end tables, 2 lamps, and an Ashley Furniture rug for $13.50. That's a pretty good deal when you're taking a look at an entire living room set, 8 pieces for under $1,400. You've got sectionals starting at $13.99. You've got those mattresses that you were talking about, recliners at $2.99. You've got those sofas and love seats around $500. Anything and everything that you want to kind of, if you've got a room in the house that you kind of need to make up a little bit, or if you've got that recliner, I'm sure Komnick's got one that's probably older than dirt.
No, probably got it from Jake's.
Well, see, there you go. But if you do have a recliner out there that sinks in the middle or whatever, stop on out here, see the furniture guy. Jake, you're open from 9 to 5 today and open from 12 to 4 tomorrow, correct?
Correct.
All right, Jake's Furnishings, 1100 Woodlawn Road. With that, we're going to step aside, take a commercial break, and when we come back, we will have Lincoln High School head coach Neil Alexander on with us. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. And we're back on the cheap seats, 96.3 WLCN, coming to you live from Jake's Furnishings this Saturday morning. Cameron Kurtz and Josh Komnick back in the saddle once again. And throughout the commercial break, we picked up a third guy. That is Lincoln High School head coach Neil Alexander. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on the 61-42 win last night over Chatham Glenwood, a game that was anticipated coming down to the final stretch of the season, a Central State 8 conference game that had a little bit of implications as far as, you know, how the season finishes out. But a fella from Chatham Glenwood that a lot of people tend to focus on here in the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure you guys wanted to focus on him last night, was Peyton Allen. And I thought that for the most part, your boys kept him in check pretty well.
Well, the shots, you know, I think he had 5 points last night. He hit one early, and he didn't score in the second half. But yeah, we wanted to know where he was at and at least contest his shots and stop his dribble penetration, because not only can he shoot the ball from the perimeter, he's also got a good mid-range game, which means you have to be able to play off the dribble. So he creates a lot of problems for a defense, and you know, our defense was much better last night. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was a lot better than it has been. We played with some energy, we played with some enthusiasm, and to be a good defensive player or team, you have to play with that. And you know, even if you're playing man-to-man or you're playing zone, you know, if you don't have your rotations and everybody's playing hard and your backside people are rotating, there's not a defense out there that's very good.
Coach, after a weekend like last weekend where maybe the Raiders didn't play up to par or maybe what we're used to, what was the week like leading up, coming into the week? What did you work on? How were the kids' attitudes and work ethics and all that kind of stuff, knowing that if they don't get it going here, regionals is right around the corner?
Well, this time of year is when you want to be playing the best basketball that you can, and I don't think we're close to that. But I thought we had a nice step last night in the right direction, and we talked a lot about you know, winning a regional, you know, getting and doing the things to be able to have that opportunity. And you know, we spent a lot of time on our defense. We really worked hard at it. We worked on some different things, and it seemed to pay off a little bit, and we will continue to do that. I hope that we've got them to where they understand that for them to win the regional, they're going to have to defend, and our defense is what's going to win it.
Yeah, having a weekend like last weekend really didn't give the guys anything to build on. I think last night was a game where, hey, we're kind of back here now. You know, we're playing like we can. Our attitudes are up, and where our confidence is up a little bit from last night. Now gives you something to work on for tonight, and then hopefully tonight will give you something to work on all of next week, heading into the last regular season game at Lanphier, which will be a tough one.
Yeah, it'll be very tough, and you know, we just have to be ready to play and take them one game at a time. There's 2 left, and then you know, you get into regional. So we're to the point to where you know, we've got to perform and do and execute and make sure that we continue to work at the things that's going to make us better.
Lincoln was a 61-42 winner over the Titans from Chatham Glenwood last night. The Railers improved to 23-5, 11-4 in the conference. Chatham falls to 12-15, 4-11 in the conference. The Titans shoot 15 of 38 from the field for 40%. Just 6 of 22 from three-point land, 6 of 11 from the free throw line. They were led by Tyler Thurston. He had 13 points, 9 from T.J. Gates, 7 from Craig Fuchs, just 5, as we mentioned just a minute ago, by Peyton Allen, the talented freshman. The Railers shoot 18 of 43 from the field, 42%, 6 of 16 from the three-point land. Only 4 threes attempted in the second half. A good job by the Railers of finding a different way to score last night, and one of those big reasons was 13 of 15 in the second half from the free throw line. Overall, 19 of 24 for 80%. When you can score 19 points from the free throw line, your opponent 6, Coach. Another advantage. We've seen that a couple times with the Railers this year, where we've had a wide margin of victory in the free throw made department, and boy, it makes life a lot easier when you can make your free throws.
It sure does, and our kids are getting a little more aggressive to the basket to be able to get to the free throw line. You know, early in the year, you know, we were satisfied with just shooting the perimeter jump shot, and now then I think they're trying to grasp, or they're getting the grasp of our offense to where it's designed to create three-pointers, but also to be able to get us to the basket.
Coach, I know an area that you stress was an area of importance last week was the rebounding and the effort made on the rebounding. And Josh and I were just discussing amongst ourselves this morning how well Lincoln was able to rebound last night, out-rebounding the Titans 31-24. You get 31 total rebounds there in a game, and 10 of those coming offensively, 21 of those coming defensively. That's saying, hey, those guys are getting in the paint, they're getting those rebounds, and not only that, but they're getting those guys out of the way to make things happen.
Well, the guys will probably want the week off next week because we want to rebound.
We haven't had that for a long time.
Not for a long time, so they'll probably want the week off. But no, they were aggressive to the boards, and the 10 offensive rebounds, that's probably more than we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And Nathaniel done a nice job on the boards. Christian got in and got some rebounds for us, and they kept the ball alive to where I think Jake Olson picked up a couple boards last night, and he's down there where he should pick up those loose balls. So Jordan Nelson, very athletic and can get some rebounds and get down in there. So if the kids will rebound, we're talking two things that are going to help us be successful at the end of the year, and that's our defense and rebounding.
Jordan Nelson finishes away with 24 points, 7 of 17 from the field, 3 of 8 from the three-point line, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 24 points, 6 rebounds. Christian Van Hook, 11 points, 5 of 8 from the free throw line, 3 of 5 from the field, 8 big rebounds for Christian last night. Nathaniel Smith, another excellent floor game for Nathaniel, 9 points, a little below what he's been averaging, 3 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. You can't get much better than that in 32 minutes. Jake Olson with 5, Austin Kirby with 2, Jordan Gessner with 3, Will Podbelsic with 2, and Brant Coyne 5 points, 4 rebounds for the Railers. Coach, it looked like in the second half when the Railers really started to build that lead. One thing that I love to see is you have 4 men in the last how many years you've been here that can get a rebound, and they're basically like a guard that can take off down the court. And if they're not open, which a lot of people, of course, are going to the ball to play defense, Nathaniel Smith would grab a rebound, bolt, not look for a guard, just take it straight down the floor, look for a shooter. He found Jordan Nelson one time. He found Jake Olson in the corner one time. He found Van Hook underneath for an easy layup. Man, it's nice to see when the Railers get out and get a little bit of transition.
Well, those are easy scores, and you have to have some easy scores in a game if you just catch it. And we talk about transition and getting out. We'll need to do it again tonight because they're going to play a half-court, kind of a ball press, half-court style defense. So we need to try to be able to push the ball down and be able to create some easy shots like that. And one I recall that was a great play is a good pass, and Christian had made a great catch.
Yeah.
It was a tough one to handle, and he made it and got the layup. And if Christian run the floor, every time, I don't think there's many players in the state of Illinois that could keep up with him.
Yeah.
Those are the opportunities you get when you run the floor.
Coach, real quickly here before we take a commercial break, Chatham-Glenwood is that type of team that could be very dangerous in the next couple of years. They're a young team. Todd Blakeman has put together an excellent program in his years at Chatham-Glenwood, but when you've got a lot of these guys that are in your starting rotation, and even those couple of guys that you bring off the bench that are sophomores and juniors, not a senior that's on the varsity roster for Chatham-Glenwood, that's probably a good testament as to how good they're going to be in the next couple of years.
Very much so. They've won, 12 games with basically a JV-type team.
Right.
And, the potential's there to have a good 3 or 4 year run, and, that'll be a team to look out for, as well as Lanphier. Lanphier's got a lot of young kids, too.
Yeah, Coach, talk real quick before we take that break about your underclassmen. Sophomores 19-2 now, I think, come back from a 11-point deficit to get a 3-point win for head coach Greg Alexander, and the freshmen who have that freshman tournament coming up. I believe Coach McClellan, Coach Harmson doing a great job again, 18-3 on the season. Don't have 2 of the freshmen that are playing up on the sophomore level. So not only some of the other schools in Central State 8, but you got some talent coming your way also.
Well, I think our young kids are, both our coaching staff does a great job. Our young guys, young kids, they're doing things that they're going to do when they get to the varsity level. And, you know, the longer you can do it, the more you can execute, the better you're going to be. So hopefully, you know, things will continue to work out, and you know, we've had some success at the 8th grade level. You know, I think we've got good, solid players clear down through our system. So again, it just depends on the commitment that the kids want to do and how hard they want to work, because, you know, one of the things that we have to strive for is to become very good shooters, because of, you know, the league that we play in and the schedule that we play is, you know, we have to stretch the floor for us to be able to compete.
All right, with that, we're going to step aside and grab our final commercial break of the broadcast. And when we come back, Coach Alexander will break down what the Railers need to focus on tonight against Moline. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back on the Chief Seats. Cameron Kurtz and Josh Komnick and Coach Neil Alexander. And Coach, a true test tonight is going to be how well Lincoln can match up against an out-of-conference opponent, taking on a tough Moline team who was victorious last night over United Township 64-55. And it's nice to see the Railers getting to see some of those schools from out of the area, a Class 4A school, and a team that has a lot of good things in a program that is very well respected.
Very much so. Ryan Weber, one of the better younger coaches in the game in the state of Illinois, and you know, he does a great job, and you know, we've got our hands full. You know, we had Peyton Allen last night, who was a freshman. Now tonight we've got Anthony Lindauer, who is a very similar type player, but also he's a senior, so he's got experience. So, you know, the confidence is a little bit different. You're playing with a different type of player there because of the experience that he has. And he's got Jordan-type range. He's a little bit bigger than Jordan. He's probably 6'2", maybe, and just really a good player. If you look at them, probably their weakness would be whether they have a point guard. And when we saw them at Christmas, they really struggled. We saw them play Lanphier, and Lanphier pretty much took them apart because of their quickness and their ability to handle the basketball. Now, we don't have the quickness that Lanphier has. And, you know, they beat them in a full-court game, and, you know, we have to keep our defense solid, but I think we're going to have to do some different things tonight to prevent them from keeping a low-scoring game. They would prefer the game to be in the, you know, around 40 points, and if they can do that, it'll be a close basketball game.
Yeah, Coach, looking at their schedule this week, saw where they have beaten Quincy, who Quincy has, of course, one of our 3 losses for us, and, you know, definitely you can always think that they're going to be big. You know, even the years that we've played them here in just the last 5 years, they've always got some just big stocky guy that sits in the middle and is a really good athlete. And you got to remember that up in that conference where they're playing Rock Island, Rockton, Hononegah, all those schools up there are most of them 4A schools with, you know, Rock Island's got a guy going to Stanford for you know, they play as good or better competition than maybe the Railers.
Oh, no doubt. Their schedule, they got beat last week by Rockford Auburn, who's highly ranked in the state. So they play a schedule that's you know, very, very competitive, and, you know, that program's got a lot of pride and things, and I enjoy playing that program. I enjoy going up there. Nice, they have a beautiful place to play, and it's an older type facility, but what a place to play, and you know, I'd like to hang on to this, you know, this contract with them for a few years. I do know we have to go back up there next year, but you know, you usually sign a 2-year, and, you know, next year will be the 2nd year of it.
Coach, talk about tonight, you know, an emotional night for not only the seniors of the Railer basketball program, all the activities during the winter months, but a time that you've, you know, had with these guys for 4 years. And I remember it's been a couple of years now, though, my senior year, I grabbed a buddy of mine when we were coming off the court. We had the opportunity to be up quite a bit on Lanphier, and grabbed Brad and said, "Just look around, bud, because it's the last time." And a lot of guys don't realize how special Roy S. Anderson Gymnasium is when you can play in front of 1,500 to 2,000 fans every night. And it hits home now that you're a little older. But those guys are last game there, but you know, they can come back for regionals. But a special moment for you and the guys and the parents.
Well, no doubt. Tonight is something that they'll always remember, and something that, like you said, is it goes by so quick. 4 years of your life is gone in a blink of an eye, and I try to stress that to these young kids to work hard and play hard, and because you're going to be in the same boat that these seniors are very soon.
Yeah.
And it don't take long to get there. And these 4 or 3 guys have really meant a lot to our program over the 4 years that we've had, and they're going to leave their mark on it. So it's a tough situation for parents. They know it, that it's the coming up to an end, and their lives are going to change. They're going to move in different directions. And again, I think I said it last night, is these are 3 individuals that have a lot of character, a lot of pride in themselves, and they are going to be successful in life. And that's what I like to see, is look out at the players that have played and gone through our program, is they're very productive in society today, and they're good kids. They work hard, and I would like to think that playing in the Railer basketball program has made them a tough individual to meet everything that goes on in life, because we all know that in life and throughout their whole life, they're going to meet adversity. They're going to have things that you're going to have to respond to, and hopefully they've learned a lot about hard work and dedication and what it takes to be successful.
I remember you talked about those guys being a part of the program. Talked about it last night on the post game. I remember Nathaniel Smith being a ball boy when I was coming up as sophomore, junior, and senior in high school, and he's been around a lot of Railer action in his day.
Yeah, well, I remember him being born.
That senior night going to come tonight at 7:30 as Lincoln takes on Moline. Game to be played at Roy S. Anderson, 7:30, a normal Saturday start time for that one. Of course, make sure you come on out to see senior night to bid farewell to the seniors of the Railer basketball program. Also, the pom-pom squad, the cheerleaders, the pep band members, and the winter sport athletes of Lincoln Community High School. We bid them farewell tonight. If you're not able to make it out to Roy S. tonight, you can, of course, catch that game right here on 96.3. Josh will be bringing you coverage of the game along with Jeff Benjamin and Tom Larry, and, of course, online at WLCNonline.com. Coach Neil Alexander, we thank you for your time this morning and always every Saturday morning, and good luck tonight taking on Moline.
Well, thank you, and hopefully we'll see everyone out there to support our seniors and the Railer basketball players and teams and coaches, and we need their help here coming up, because we need that advantage at home in the regional.
All right, well, Coach, we thank you for that. And, Josh, real quickly, while we've got a couple of minutes here, break down a little bit of local action that's going on for a lot of area schools. You take a look at Lincoln also has boys swimming and diving today. They've got that going on with the Champaign Central IHSA sectional. So we'd like to wish good luck to the Lincoln High School boys swimming team. Also, Lincoln College men's basketball team, they'll be taking on Lincoln Land today, 3 o'clock. That's a game could be played at Lincoln Land. And Lincoln College women's basketball, they will have Lincoln Land prior to that at 1 o'clock today, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock, those start times on that. And Josh, just real quickly here, we've been kind of breaking down and examining Railer basketball for what it's worth, and this final regular season home game just kind of brings it all into perspective.
Well, it does. In a quick season, we were commenting last night during a commercial break that, man, the last home game is tomorrow night. How quickly has it gone? I can imagine for the guys how quick it's gone for them, but three great seniors, 3 great kids, great families, and that's what it's all about when this program, when Coach Al has helped build up here a unique place in Illinois basketball to go watch a game, and it's special to be a part of that program, because you'll remember it for the rest of your life, and that's what is pretty neat to watch those guys run out there, and we get excited to watch them every year, and we'll just keep it rolling.
And, Josh, we've been out at Jake's Furnishings this morning. We thank Jake for sitting in with us this morning, kind of giving his 2 cents, and it's always nice to have a third guy's perspective on this. But Jake has been our host sponsor this morning, and a great sale that he's got going on out here, a President's Day weekend spectacular sale that he's got.
Yeah, stop by Jake's Furnishings, located at 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln, for the President's Birthday Sales extravaganza going on now. Save big Presidents on everything in the showroom including beautiful top-quality Ashley brand furniture for every room in your home and every Bemco mattress, including latex and pillow tops. At Jake's Furnishings, they won't be undersold. Open 7 days a week. For more information, phone 735-1212. Jake's Furnishings, make it your own.
And of course, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors. We thank State Bank of Lincoln, KC Ultra Graphics, Kevin Curry and his crew. Of course, Jake, the furniture guy, and his staff that he has out here. Jim Grimaldi, attorney at law. The Christian Village, we were out there last week. We thank them for everything that they provide to the community, and also Bricky Printing and Photography. Next Saturday, we're going to be back out at the Christian Village. We're going to be at the Congregate Building out there next week. So it seems that the Christian Village has been they've shown their hospitality to us quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. That's where we're going to be next week, and that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for this February 19th edition of the Cheap Seat Sports Open Line. For my co-host, Josh Komnick, and for our general manager, Jim Ash, for our technical producer back at the studio, Paula Kodat, and for our cameraman, TJ Trail, this is Cameron Kurtz, thanking everyone for listening today. Railers back in action tonight against Moline at 7:30. For all of us here at WLCN, we thank you for listening, and until then, we'll see you down the road.